Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ult In Ten, and today we have a really well-known AP mid player from a really well-known team. It's Ocelote from SK. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick and say hi?
Hi guys, I'm Carlos. I'm the SK captain, Ocelote, well known as Ocelote, and yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with with Billy.
Okay, and this is actually a tournament game between SK and against Authorities. So if you can, actually explain why you guys are invading and like how you guys are going about doing it real quick.
Yeah, of course. Well, the thing is that against AAA, we studied them a lot, and we know that they have problems against invades at level one. We had a really good level one fight, so we just focus on that, and as you can see, like we got the first blood here.
Yeah, that Olaf definitely did a lot of work with those undertows, really kept that John afloat, and with that Ashe, pretty much guaranteed crit, was able to pick up that kill. And let's talk about your history for a little bit. How'd you get started in the games, and how'd you get started in the League of Legends?
I started playing League of Legends like at the very beginning, after the beta released. And I have to say that I stopped playing it because for some reason I just saw some fun. I just realized that the game was just fun poppers, nothing to do with competitive gaming, and stopped playing it. But then I just started realizing that the moves Riot was making were the proper ones to make the game succeed. So it kind of boosted me, it boosted my motivation towards the game, and I started playing once again, like right before the season one started.
Yeah, Riot's definitely been doing a great job with developing the game and developing the game competitively. They've definitely been supporting it a lot more than, Blizzard for StarCraft 2, which apparently I'm hearing they're going to be doing a lot more of. And how'd you get started with AP carries in particular?
Well, actually, I was an AD carry before. I was a Corki player, an Ashe player, and I used to like them a lot. But then I realized that, well, in World of Warcraft, as you might know, I was a well-known player there, and I was playing Warrior. I was the Warrior of SK Gaming in World of Warcraft in 3v3 arena. So I always liked these aggressive heroes. Aggressive heroes that, like in World of Warcraft, Warrior was like that champion that like had a burst damage, had some burst damage, and he just uses everything in 5 seconds or 4 seconds. Just pops everything in 4 seconds. And I realized that that is my playstyle, and that is what makes me as a gamer. My soul as a gamer is being unexpected, being that kind of stuff. And AD carry wasn't bringing me the what I was looking for from a competitive game. I wasn't the best at all. I wasn't even close to good AD carry. Literally because it just doesn't fit me. I'm not used to wait so much time before killing people. I'm not used to just farm, and then killing people. It just doesn't fit me. That's why I wasn't that good. But yeah, then I started playing AP carry. I realized that that was exactly what I wanted. AP carry is like the warrior of League of Legends. Why is this? Like everybody's gonna say why. The particular words are the bruisers, no? But no, actually not. Like AP carry is that champion that has some cooldowns that you have to pop out in most likely 1-2 seconds to burst someone down basically, and you can do it from the very beginning even. So that's why I realized that playing AP carry was like playing warrior in WoW, and was exactly the role that fits me the most.
See, I was a priest player in World of Warcraft, at least in vanilla, and that was it for me. And I guess that's why I'm kind of stuck playing a lot of supports when I do a lot of ring. And since you're doing a casting versus Nibby here, can you kind of talk about your early game goals in terms of items and in terms of like harass or anything like that? And then also in terms of like what do you skill up in like what order?
Yeah, okay. Well, the thing is that my cousin is just different, okay? Like my cousin rules, my cousin gameplay is just different to the others. Okay, Catherine have normally problems with the laning phase. Why is that? Because if he gets overganked before 6, he's gonna be so useless later on. So I'm using HP regen quintessence runes, magic penetration red, HP regen per level yellow, and magic resist flat. So it's like 0 AP involved. And what I do this is why I do this. Sorry, is because I want to keep up in lane. I want to keep myself up in lane. I want to farm a lot. I want to go to base and buy my catalyst ASAP. Because roll of ages is always, every single game, my first item on Catherine. Even if I go Tear of Goddess, I go Tear of Goddess after Rod of Ages. And the sooner I get my Rod of Ages, I see if I'm fed enough or not. So I always start with boots and 3 potions, unless the opponent has a jungler like Warwick, and the mid laner is something like Cannon, okay, AP Cannon. Then in that case I use Doran's shield. Only in that case. But yeah, normally I use boots and 3 potions. It's just the best build for Catherine. And these runes help a lot, especially for these first 3-4 levels, where you're literally being the target of ganks, being the target of auto attacks of the opponent. Because you're gonna face normally a ranged AP carries like Anivia, like Ari, like Cannon, whatever, and those champions can harass you so much with 80 damage.
Yeah, definitely, and the extra regen, like you were saying, makes you can actually CS. Like you can go in, get a couple CS, and then back out, let your health regen, go back in again. And since you're trying to go for that catalyst pretty early on, it definitely helps out as well. And actually, I want to go to a community question here, and it's kind of about you when you're not playing. Do you spend a lot of time theory crafting? Because it kind of sounds like you do with all this, talk about HP regen coins and HP regen yellows.
No, I don't like theory crafting. Like, I'm the kind of opinion that everybody has their own playstyle. So theory crafting is more like numbers and stuff. It doesn't fit me at all. I just test, test, and the way I learn is failing, basically. I got like 2K games in solo queue, plus the games I play with my team. I play around 12 to 14 hours a day. This is my life, actually. And I got enough time to test stuff. That's why my solo queue rating goes up and down, basically. I'm like 2.4k one week, the next week I'm 1.9k literally, yeah? And it's because I like testing stuff, I like knowing what is gonna be the best on every situation. Like I'm playing lately Victor, bigger. Obviously you lose rating the very first days. But at the end of the day, what matters is what you win in offline tournaments, how you perform in tournaments in general. So I use the knowledge bring by solo queue on my rank games, basically, with my team. So the point is, theory crafting will only bring me numbers. They will not bring me what I need, which is something that fits to my playstyle. And this build with Catherine fits me perfectly to my playstyle. Yeah, mainly because I'm able to farm, and in mid game I'm gonna be so scary.
Right, and then you can't really gain experience through theory crafting like you can through, trial and error when actually playing a champion. Alright, now we're back in more of the mid-game here. Your tower did go down, and you were able to pick up the kill on your deer who ganked top lane. And since you actually didn't go into it too much before the break here, can you kind of talk about your skill orders for Kassadin?
Okay, well, thing is that on Catherine, I level up skills a tiny bit different, okay? So, obviously Q is the main spell of Catherine. Q has to be leveled up to the max. And then E, obviously. I level up W at level 2 once to make sure I can get some mana from the creeps, from auto-attacking the creeps. But here is the thing I do different, which is when I'm level 11, instead of leveling up the ultimate to level 2, I level up E again. So E is level 4 at level 11. And at level 12, I do the same. So E is level 5 at level 12. And ultimate is still level 1. So I only level up ultimate to level 2 at level 13, basically.
So you just keep your Rift Walk as like a utility spell than more of a damage spell?
Thing is really important here is that why would you need the level 2 ultimate before, And the thing is that in the early game, Catherine needs the ultimate either to chase or either to quit from ganks. In any of those two situations, you need your ultimate to have less mana cost, obviously, and you don't need damage at that point. Like, you don't want to kill people with your ultimate going in at level 11. That's normally not gonna happen.
Right, very true. And I kind of want to go to a community question here real quick, is what AP mids do you feel are safe picks in terms of with the current meta and how things are going?
Well, I'm still doing this question to myself, no joke, because when you know the opponent's mid lane hero, then you can counter, but when you don't know, it's like you're under troubles. So what I do is thinking about those champions that are not so good against everybody, but are not so bad against everybody. I'm talking about Anivia, for instance. I'm talking about Kennen, talking about Morgana, even Galio. Those four champions will be always good.
Okay. And I kind of want to ask a question about your team here because SK is well known. I mean, they've been around for a long time. The organization's been around even longer. What do you feel makes SK different from other European teams?
Well, more than a team, SK is a club. You know, it's like SK Law is a team, but SK as an organization is a club, a huge club. So I think SK is just so different to the others. Like you can trust 100%.
Actually, sorry, can I cut you off here? Can you talk about this team fight real quick?
Yeah. Here we are. Yeah, this fight is really important. It's the core of the game, basically. We catch up Anivia in a really bad situation for her. I think we are able to kill her. I'm not sure. No, we're not able to kill her. But we are able to poke them out. It's really important to poke them at this point, since if we don't poke enough, they're gonna chase us like always because we don't have the mid tower. So it's really important to do the max damage we can. This is a really important moment. This is like the core of the fight of the game, because right now we are under so many troubles. But I jump in. I know I have a lot of damage. I try to do my best doing the damage. I know I can chase. I tell my team to chase. I got enough power. I'm fair enough. We keep chasing, and we definitely win the game here. Basically, I was just perfect move by us.
Yeah, during the entire fight, you were actually sitting off to the side. I'm going to show it on my screen, but you won't be able to see it. But during the initial part of the fight, he was standing about right here the entire time, just kind of sitting off to the side. And even when his team was being chased back, he just kind of went through river, went towards his little wraith bush and just sat waiting. And kind of, he didn't really show his presence, so it really did provide pressure in terms of, like, where's Cassidy? And definitely took advantage of that. And I have to definitely give you kudos to that. But to go back to the question about SK, about being different from European teams, if you want to continue that real quick.
Yeah, of course. Okay. SK Gaming is just different. You can trust SK Gaming. You can just say, "I give my arm." If SK Gaming doesn't give you what they say, they will never owe you money. They will never treat you bad. They will never trick you. They will never cheat. It's just an organization that you feel like you are the organization. You feel like you are the person giving to yourself the stuff. Like, I trust SK so much that I think right now SK is in my veins.
And since it's a club, does that mean I can be an honorary member of this club?
Even more.
Awkward moment there, as he wants to say no, but it's not to say it. Okay, so going back to Caston here, your items. You do have that ROA, and you are building towards an Abyssal, and can you kind of describe why you're doing that?
Yes. If you click a tab right now, you can see how Moma, their Anivia, is fed a bit, Vladimir is fed a bit, but the early carry is not fed. So why would you do ammo items, why would you full damage items when the real damage they got is the AP damage? So you have to, creating the builds in-game, you have to always fast think about who's fed of them. So the two APs are fed. What does it mean? You have to go for magic resistance damage, magic resistance and burst damage. So that's what I go for. It's like the perfect item against them, especially at this point where they're both APs so fed.
Yeah, there's really no set build for any champion pretty much, except maybe Rise, even though he is changing a little bit. Because, you really have to pay attention to, hey, they're running double AP, and their APs have all the kills or all the farm. Why not get that magic resist? Or, hey, their AD is getting really fed, maybe I should get some armor going with the zone or something like that. And a lot of people don't realize that. You really always have to be fine-tuning a build during the playing. And I kind of want to go to one more question, because this is really important with solo queue, is about what if the enemy mid laner, kind of disappears from lane, is going bot to gank? Do you kind of prefer to follow or just push their lane extremely hard?
That's a really good question. Okay, it always depends, okay? You cannot say, I always do this item. You cannot say, I always go this lane when someone goes. You cannot say, I always farm my lane. No, there is always variety, There's always stuff that makes you change what you have to do. So imagine, okay, I am Cassidy in lane. The opponent is Anivia, like at this point. And imagine he just leaves the lane to go down bottom lane. I know I'm stronger than him, I follow. even though I lose creeps. But imagine I am Anivia, and the opponent is Catherine. Catherine manages to push the lane a tiny bit, then he roams. I'm Anivia, and I will never, ever follow that Catherine unless I'm 20-0, because I know he will be stronger than me. So there is no point in following if I know I'm a potential kill for him. I just have to farm mid lane and say, hey guys, the guy is coming. And whenever Catherine appears on the map, whenever Catherine appears on Drake, for instance, then you can start running, because you know there is no bait on that move. There's no bait by Catherine. He's not hiding in a brush, waiting for you to come to just insta give you. So I just push the lane, then go help bottom lane or top lane or whatever, whenever I got the chance to, and I know I will not die.
Right, okay, so it's very situational is what you're saying. It depends on a lot of different factors. And now we're back here, and it's actually towards the late game, so a couple minutes after we actually last stopped for that break. And can you kind of talk about real quick, since we are in towards this late game kind of build and time frame, what's your general goals and also general item goals?
It always depends as well, but in this game, I'm so fed that going for more AP is risky. Why is risky? Because I can just get one-shotted. So what you have to do at this point, if you're this fed, is going for semi-AP, semi-tankiness, which is, the tankiness is being driven by HP, by magic resist, by armor, It depends. So when I'm so fed that the only reason I can lose the game is getting insta-give, I go for some tankiness.
Okay, if you talk about the spike real quick, actually you caught O'Deer off at Baron.
Yeah, I didn't want the jungler to steal the Baron, so I focused him quite a lot. And yeah, after that it's just cleaning. Like, Catherine Fed is one of the best cleaners of the game. Katarina is another good cleaner, Akali is another good cleaner, but Catherine is just way too strong to clean people up.
Yeah, that Vladimir could even drop you below half health right there, with those HP regen, and not to mention Baron. And can you kind of talk about a little bit about playing AP and solo queue versus team games? Like, what can someone do? Like, what's some advice you can give someone to become better as an AP carry and also become better in overall, overall in their game?
Well, this is a different thing. Solo queue and team and team games. In solo queue, from my own experience, I always get rating whenever I focus so much on having a proper farm, and which is more important, on seeing which lane is the weakest and when I have to lane that lane. The weakest in both terms. The weakest, or their weakest, or our weakest. Sometimes you have to help your weakest lane, because otherwise it's gonna be a catastrophe. So yeah, that's it. But in pre-made it's just totally different, because when you play with your team, normally none of your lanes is gonna lose so hard, and if they lose so hard, the one that's gonna help the most is the jungler probably. Whenever you miss from your lane, everybody's gonna go bonkers and say, hey, Ocelote is missing, be careful top, be careful bottom. And everybody's gonna play so safe. So ganking is not the way to succeed as a mid player in Premier games. Under my point of view, the game turned into something really boring in terms of mid lanes, because right now it's just whoever farms the best and whoever has the best team fight in mid game is gonna win. Is gonna win the game basically. So the better you farm, the better you create pressure towards the opponent's mid lane, the better you will be in teamfights, the better your teamfights will be, the better your game will be in general. So what I say is that you have to train a lot the 1v1 situations, you have to train a lot the 1v2 situations, you have to know where the opponent jungler is every single moment. If you don't know, you have to play safe, and knowing that if you get ganked, you won't die. It's a couple of things. You have to be so careful. And the most important thing, apart from taking care of where the jungler is being better than the opponent 1v1.
Okay. And what do you think about the current meta right now? I was talking with a couple other people doing Ult In Tens before, and they were mentioning how it seems the meta kind of changed, at least in North America, from having like bursty AP champions like the end of Season 1 to having more sustained damage like Cassiopeia and Ryze. How do you feel about that, and where do you think the meta actually will be heading towards?
Well, I wish you could use Cassiopeia more often, but actually she's not that good. Nowadays, the heroes that are flavor are Galio, Morgana, these tanky champions that always have the power of pushing. and barely have a chance to die. So those champions, like the meta game, has turned into just playing champions that are able to farm without going such as Cannon, Vladimir, Morgana, Galio. Those champions can go just farming, and they got the power of just farming, and then keep farming doing raids. That's the ridiculous thing. So they do raids, then they farm again, then they do the opponent's raids or whatever, or the wolves even. So it's all about farming. That's why LeBlanc is not being used. That's why Bran is not being used, because he has to use a lot of mana to kill the waves. That's why, I don't know, Catherine and these champs are not being used so often, because you don't have push power basically.
Right, you're not really a threat in terms of like if that AP mid leaves, they're not gonna worry about that tower too much. And last community question here actually is do you ever play any unconventional mids and that you're fond of? And do you believe they have any place in competitive play?
What do you mean?
Just mids that you normally don't see, that you're really fond of, that you kind of see that there is a potential for them being in competitive play.
You're asking for a champ that is not not gonna be played on?
Well, just AP champions, like AP MF, AP Tristana, stuff like that.
Well, they are never gonna be useful in competitive play for sure, because is what I'm talking about. Like you need to be able to push the lane. You need to be able to outpush the opponent. Not only that, outpush the opponent without going because you wanna still be powerful 1v1. It's all about pushing nowadays. I think what could make the game more interesting could be going for boosting the defense stats of the creeps, boosting the magic reses of the creeps. That kind of stuff would be so interesting.
And in terms of, well, you might not want to answer this one, and I can understand if you don't, but in terms of European teams and North American teams, which ones are you really on the lookout for? In the Season 2 championships that are coming up, I believe in September.
Well, I think that's two things. I'm looking forward to beat M5 actually in a tournament, and but on the other hand, I think that they are right now the best team of the world, and actually, if I have to put my hands of fire for one team, it could be M5 because they are playing extremely good lately. On the other hand, I really want to beat them, so confronted feelings.
Well, what about the Korean teams? We saw CLG this last couple months play in the OGN League in Korea. Do you are they on your radar at all? And is SK even interested in actually participating in something like that? Maybe getting like a gaming house in Korea and participating in the whole tournament?
We were invited to OGN, but we are having a problem here because in Europe and America we got a lot of tournaments coming out. MLG, we got Gamescom, all of them are extremely important and we cannot miss them. And being 10 weeks in Korea is gonna be so messy for us. It's gonna be like we are gonna be out of the community. I'm not gonna be able to communicate with them. We are not gonna be able to to keep up the good work we are doing in the European and American scene right now. So I'm not sure about that move. It could happen, obviously it could happen, but I'm not so sure yet.
Okay, and this is actually the final push for you guys here, and I believe actually, what's his face? Yeah, Olaf actually does die. But you guys know, I believe right here, that you can win this since you have a gear up in 20 seconds. And I believe you guys actually do finish this off. So I guess real quick is your website. You do have a website. What exactly do you do with it? If you want to explain to people.
Yeah, of course. It's just some kind of my image, whatever I do as Ocelote, any tournament we got, any interesting stuff going on, any fun pictures, interviews, any tournament I got, offline tournament, it's gonna be there. It's like everything related with me is gonna be there. So any fan, any follower that wants to know about what's going on with Ocelote should go oceloteworld.net definitely, and even to watch the stream, they can watch the stream from there. And they can even choose the size of the stream. It helps a lot for the webmaster though, because they are getting all the revenues. I don't get anything. I don't want to get any revenues from that web page. It's just a tool to communicate with the fans.
All right, very cool. Is there anything you want to say real quick before we actually do end this episode?
Yes, of course. Thanks a lot to every single fan, every single supporter, every single hater as well, because without haters, there are no fans basically. And just thanks a lot to all of you, because you make me what I am, you make my team what we are, and you make this game what it is.
All right, very well said. And everyone, make sure to check out his website, as he did say before. Make sure to check out his Facebook, his Twitter, and definitely check out his stream as well. And without further ado, I guess that's it for another episode of Ult In Ten, and we'll see you guys next time.